Over the past 5 years, I have trained myself to never discuss important decisions with other people. It all started during a difficult time in my life when I realized that every piece of advice I received wasn't just bad, it actually made a terrible situation much worse. I also analyzed my past, scanning through every major life choice I had ever made. I realized that in almost every critical decision-making moment, the advice I had received had been either useless or actively harmful. This is not strange, since people tend to give advice based on their own lives and struggles, often without much context. Yet when you feel uncertain about something, for example, your interpretation of a situation, you might feel immediately compelled to discuss it with others. In this video, I want to present my method of decision making. I systematically started to avoid discussing my decisions with others. The quality of my decision-making increased quickly. However, there are two things that go lost when you insist on not discussing your decisions with anyone. The first one is that part of the solution is often just to articulate the issue, to hear yourself say the problem out loud. The second is that you don't get the brainstorm and unexpected perspectives that others might be able to offer. So I have developed a specific method to overcome the first obstacle and some of the latter one too. I read about a similar method years ago, and then I modified it and made my own version of it. I have board meetings with myself. I invite different parts of myself to board meetings. The board members are different perspectives that come up when brainstorming ideas. Before the actual meeting, I might journal and articulate the question, the problem that needs to be solved. Then I enter the meeting and raise the question. This board meeting method only works if you have a concrete question. For me, it doesn't work well to invite the board to general brainstorming about life. The question could be, what do we focus on the following 3 months? Or how to navigate a complicated situation. Should we react or act to the situation somehow, or just wait? My decisions, such as moving to a new city 4 years ago and starting a new PhD just after finishing the former one, and applying to study psychology at the same time, all these decisions have been made at my board meetings with myself. They even have dates, so I can even trace back to the date I made this or that decision. What does a good board leader do at a meeting? A good board leader listens, makes everyone feel heard, and makes sure that all the valuable information is brought up, ideally without too much filtering. So nothing is off the table. The ego gets to speak. The pragmatist gets to speak. The existential voice inside you gets to speak. The future version of you gets to speak too. The person who is entangled in the past and current life situation also gets to speak. You can even name your internal characters, and there is no pre-evaluation regarding their output. I also paraphrase what is being said. I repeat it. So you are saying that by doing this, the consequence could be that. Or you are uncertain about something here, yet you struggle putting that into words. Let's try to do it together. And it makes things so much clearer. It also makes me feel like all the alternatives are considered and discussed. All the parts of me are participating. At the beginning, I just say welcome to the meeting. Practically, I would sit on my couch with my eyes closed, imagining this, and I would likely mumble. I'm not sure if I actually say things out loud. And I make the problem that we are solving explicit. Then I ask what perspectives there are to consider. I also ask what solutions there are if we think about the situation completely outside the box. So I try to activate as many perspectives as possible, as much information about the situation as possible. Sometimes even surprising decisions do come up that are slightly more radical than expected, and more moderate decisions are ruled out. The board meeting often makes me see more alternatives, and they bring clarity to a situation. It is also very important to articulate the decision clearly. I usually write it down after the meeting. And I can change my mind too and rule out a former decision, but that requires a new board meeting. But you can also end up with not knowing the right answer yet. That can be a decision too. But then you have systematically reviewed different alternatives in the light of the information that is available. You can make the decision not to decide and plan a new date for the next board meeting a few months ahead, because maybe you need to let something mature a bit before making a decision. Another possibility is to make a decision anyway and to decide that we do not have all the necessary information available, but this is the best decision we can come up with in the current circumstances. And it is sometimes more important to make the decision now than to end up with the perfect decision. So, the atmosphere at these board meetings is extremely focused. The chain of thoughts is quite uninterrupted, and the conclusions of the meetings are articulated clearly. It is a way of bringing clarity even to an unclear situation. It is okay that the situation is unclear and that the perspectives brought up are vague, but this is a method of articulating clearly even the unclarity. And if you want to take this a step further, you can go on weekend seminars. You know how some companies and organizations have conferences or strategy meetings that require a few days, and they go to a hotel somewhere and develop strategies at another location. You can do this with yourself too. And if you do, make a clear agenda and schedule for yourself beforehand. It is not a retreat, not a time for relaxation, but to designate specific days for making specific decisions or plans at a place that is stimulating. So, I wish you good luck with your future board meetings and all the excellent future decisions that you are going to make.